Hello and welcome to Chapter 13 of my SPAD 13 build. In this chapter I'll be covering the preparation and painting of the elevators and the ailerons. Hello again and welcome back to my shop. Most of the painting has been completed on the aircraft, the fuselage, the tail feathers, parts of the tail feathers. The wings have all been done, and so the last little bit is going to be the elevators, as you see here, the first two, and one aileron. The other aileron is going to be a different color, so I'll have to do that a little bit later on. So these have been all prepped and prepared. The masking has been done, so there's going to be no overspray on the bottom part, or at least I hope not where we don't want the paint to go. So without any further ado, I think we'll start painting right now. So there I have the first coat, and as you can see, it's a very light mist coat. One of the drawbacks of using a latex type of paint is it doesn't flash off or dry as quickly as an oil base. So you have to be very careful on the coats that you put on. Now, most of the surfaces are flat, so you get a little bit of leeway there. But I do have some that are vertical or at an angle, so you have to be very careful. So that'll be it for a bit. I'll let that dry up, and then I'll get ready for the second coat. Okay, it looks like the first coat is pretty much dry now, so it should be safe to go ahead and put the second coat on. This was probably going to take 3 to 5, as many as 5 coats depending on the coverage. As I say, these are very, very light coatings, so it takes a little bit more. If you try to hurry, you're going to end up with runs, so it's better a little bit safer than sorry. I have turned the sound off due to the air compressor coming on. One thing I want you to note is the different direction now that I am painting those surfaces. First I was doing span-wise, now I'm doing chord-wise, trying to get the best coverage I can with the paint application. So here's a shot of the second coat, and as you can see there's a little bit of glossiness as it's still a little bit wet, although again, because these coats are relatively very light,
They dry fairly quickly, which of course helps the speed of the project, that's for sure. Well, all in all, quite satisfied so far.
Okay, so we're ready for the third coat, and by the looks of what I'm seeing, I'm probably going to have to do at least one more after this one to get complete coverage. So, let's see what happens. Okay, as you can see, this was a much heavier coat than the first two, and starting to get a good fill in now. I think one more will probably do it. This is going to be very, very close. And you'll also notice that I only did this portion of the aileron, and that's mostly because from here on it's going to be dark green, so I didn't want to continue putting buildup of different color paint on there. Just wanted to get a better blend for it. Okay, looks pretty good. So here we are for what I hope will be the fourth and final coat. I think it's going to do it, but we shall see. Well, I've just finished painting the last aileron, this one here, which is the light green as opposed to the other ones. And one of the things I thought I should show you is I made these nifty little, I call them nifty little supports for these pieces as I'm painting. You don't want them flat on the surface, you want them elevated so there's no contact with the surface. Potentially that's where you have a paint line. So I came up with this idea of basically just cutting the ordinary plumbing insulation pipe into little tiny sections. You can position them where you want, they're perfectly light, and they hold it up very, very well. So, might be something you might want to consider. Some of you may be wondering why I'm using a flat paint instead of a nice shiny finish. I don't want it to look like a museum replica. I want it to look like something that actually did fight during the war. It'll be grimy and dirty and oily. And actually, as I finish up the airplane, I hope to add some of those effects to it and have it more realistic as it would have been during the war setting. That said, thank you for watching and stay tuned, more to come.